Charlie, I am delighted to be giving you the African Banker Icon Awards for the 2021 edition of the African Banker Awards. So African Banker Icon is chosen by the organizing committee, and I think you're the first non-African to get it. We've once given it to an institution, Citibank, for their work in training and developing so many top-ranking bankers that are leading some of the biggest banks today in Africa. But I think you're the first non-African recipient of the African Banker Icon. And really, we feel that in the past 10 years or so, you've transformed research and thinking around Africa. And you may not be African in terms of a passport holder, but we consider you as an African brother who's championed the African cause. And really, you know, I can't say I look forward to your tweets as much as I used to look forward to Donald Trump's, but I do look forward to your tweets and your research papers. And it's really fascinating in terms of the angles that you take and the things that you bring to light. So congratulations, Charlie. Maybe you want to say a few words, and then I'll ask you one or two questions if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally honoured and surprised. So I really, really appreciate this. I know people probably say this quite a lot in these circumstances, but it really wouldn't have been possible without the team I work with. Our head of African research, Yvonne Mahango, has taught me so much about Africa. I can't begin to express what a debt I owe her. The team we've got in Kenya, in Nigeria, Cairo, South Africa, the friends I've made in Zambia and Ghana and Zimbabwe, all over. So there's been a huge amount of support. The work that I've done has been massively dependent on the help and assistance and ideas and the challenges that colleagues have brought me. So I have to say this is owed far more to the people I work with perhaps than me just directly. So, but I really, really appreciate the honour, and it's wonderful to be put anywhere close to someone like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. I think was one of the first people to get the award from you. That's a privilege.
Well, it's awarded to champions of the banking sector and people who are transforming the way we look at banking and finance on the continent. And last week, my father was telling me that a great economist and writer, De Bono, passed away. And he was the author of Lateral Thinking. And when I look at your research, I seem to look at it, it seems to have a sort of a lateral thinking approach to it. So can you tell us a little bit about how you guys and your team approach research in general?
I guess what marks some of what we do apart is that we are constantly meeting companies and banks. It's not just, for us, macro research isn't just about trying to work out where GDP is going or inflation figures. It's about trying to understand why GDP is doing what it's doing and trying to integrate what companies and banks are telling us. So a whole host of the work in recent years has been this issue of the lack of finance. Why is there a lack of savings? And each time I get one of these questions that I'm asking, and the problems that companies and banks are telling us, we then have to delve into the macro research and to take that from any source. You know, what's worked in Asia? What hasn't worked in Latin America? What experience can I bring that I've looked at Eastern Europe for over 25 years? Is there any experience from that which feeds into this? So it helps to have had a broader emerging market background for 25 years when we're looking at Africa, but it really helps to be talking to people on the ground on a really regular basis, to have all our conferences in Africa about Africa and to be asking and to try and answer questions. It's about having a lot of curiosity, I think, not coming in with pre-existing kind of structural ideas about what should be. It's about asking what is and trying to answer the questions about why from that perspective.
Okay, fantastic. Look, I was looking at your book, The Fastest Billion, the other day, and I was looking at the publishing date. I wanted to see how old it was, and I saw it, first published, I think, in 2012, which means you probably started writing it maybe 10 years ago. I mean, you had predictions there. One of the predictions, or one of your theses, I think, that you continue to push is, what countries need to look at education and birth rates. So reducing the birth rate, increasing education if you want that rapid growth. So when you look back at the Fastest Billion and the predictions, and so what are your thoughts, and maybe you're adjusting those predictions today?
Well, the most important chapter probably was the one about education. There's been such a transformation on the continent where roughly 20% of people could read or write at the time of independence of many countries in 1960, only a fifth of most countries could do that. And the work we've done since then has confirmed just how important that is, and what an important lag there is, that if you get literacy, adult literacy right, then decades, even a century later, you can still see that in the GDP figures. But what we've done more work on, and I've been writing a book this year, which I hope to find an agent for soon, is looking at some of the other challenges. Electricity. You do need 300 kilowatt hours of electricity per person, and too many countries still don't have that. Nigeria still hasn't got that. Kenya still hasn't got that. And you can't industrialize without it. And that's then led us to the question of, well, why not? Why does China have electricity but Nigeria not? And it comes to savings, and that led to, why aren't the savings there? And that then led to our demographic research that we actually only published in 2019, showing that the countries where there's a high fertility rate, 4, 5, 6 children per woman, don't have savings, because people don't have savings. And when the fertility rate drops, whether it's China in the 70s or 80s or Morocco in the 1990s, then savings boom, interest rates come down, and suddenly you can go to a country like Morocco with fantastic rail infrastructure, plenty of electricity, and that country's industrializing and doing very well. And as we see the fertility rates come down, we start to see the growth accelerate. And this is, I think, quite a different way of looking at demographics. It's not saying there's a great demographic dividend from having lots of young people. It's saying there's a great demographic dividend from having lots of young people and then not having quite so many in the future. That's where Asia's been at for 20 years or more now, and it's where Africa is going to be when the fertility rates are brought lower.
Fantastic. That's exactly the original thinking that we were talking about, and that we've been following and reading with so much pleasure and interest over the past 10 years. So once again, congratulations, Charlie. Thanks for your insights. We look forward to your book. And I'll plug again The Fastest Billion, which is still relevant today, actually.
Thank you so much. And again, I'm totally honored and feel a great privilege. So thank you.
And thank you to all your colleagues. I know it's not one person's work, the research, but it's under your leadership and under your guidance. And that original thinking and curiosity is, and you challenging your team is what keeps them going. So thank you very much, Charlie, and congratulations.
Cheers, pleasure.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.
And you, bye.